On a whole, how have you found this rehearsal process?
Tiring. Very tiring.
Fun. Good. I feel like it's changed a lot from the first. It's changed a lot. Again, I feel like there's been constant changes, which has been really good because you've adapted to like the things that have been problems.
That's how it is with working with technology.
Yeah.
Was the style of dance? Oh wait, yeah. Was the style of the dance clearly established and maintained throughout?
I think that's changed a little bit too.
I can't remember what it was.
But at the beginning, I feel like it was a lot. I don't know, it had a different feeling almost. Remember when we first started with Rachel?
Yeah.
It just felt a little bit different. It felt a little bit more just all the same dynamic, like all a bit flowy. Now it feels a bit, I feel like there's bits that break it up.
I feel like with the both just the two of us, like, just not going to be shared with anyone, is it? Yeah, so like me and Jess like bounce off each other's energy.
Yeah, that was one of the questions later. How have you found working as a duet instead of a trio?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be easier actually.
Yeah.
Especially because there's so much to think about with the film. And I almost feel like when there was three of us, it was quite a lot to think about at the same time. I don't know how it would have been different like now.
And I think with the three of us, like the energy dropped. So with the two of us, it's more like...
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of like pick it back up and you can take from the other's energy. Yeah.
Related to that question, was the stimulus made clear to you at the beginning of the process, and was the dance constructed with you understanding what the stimulus was?
Was the stimulus film? Yes, that was quite obvious. That's quite an obvious stimulus because we made it. Like we are in the film. So yeah, that was a very obvious stimulus.
What was your initial idea, like beach? You wanted to film on a beach?
Well, because I'd already had my screen dance, I wanted, because at first I didn't know if I could already use something that I'd already made. And on points I could, I thought, you've already got shots on the beach, may as well create a piece of them. Otherwise, if I couldn't, it would have been
something
different. Did you find it easier to move with having the film as a constant visual?
Yeah, personally, yeah, because that's what I'm trying to get out. You go.
I would say no.
No?
I would say it's harder to move, and I still think it's harder to move because you're consciously aware of what's going on. And I don't know if that comes with just like tons of practice, so you know like down to the music when the film changes. But I almost feel like sometimes you can lose the quality of it just because you're concentrating so much on what's going on the screen.
Yeah, if I was constantly doing the rehearsal and got to know, like, well, I do know it, but got to know more, like, what's coming next, I think it'd be easier for it to...
Also, yeah, I feel like once you kind of started getting into it, like when we were doing the leaf thing over there, like you just start to get into it,
and then it changes.
And then it changes again. And I think because you're aware of that, it takes you a little bit longer to get into it, because once it's changed, you're like, oh, we're on to the next section, and you've got to get your head in that section then. But I wouldn't say it was a negative thing. It was just it's just something that's different to how we normally work, which is nice.
And because, like, at first I wanted to have the whole film done before we started rehearsals, like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so we could do that. We could have all these weeks getting the timings, getting the phrases right. But it's
happens that way.
I don't think it would have worked that way.
No.
So that's why.
And I think we would have got bored as a film.
Yeah.
A lot of lose interest in the movement.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's gonna evolve throughout, and especially with film, because there's gonna be things that you like say if you're in a rehearsal process. So if we're in my rehearsal, we could just go like, oh, I don't like that bit, so straight away, you can't do that because you've got to then go and re-edit the whole film. So it's like throwing away a little bit of movement and also like doing the kind of like theoretical side.
That's why like what Bernard said, like he wanted for Rach not to be in it in the film. I said I'd lose half of the film if I took all those shots.
Yeah.
So
So it's just kind of adapting, isn't it?
yeah. You've helped a lot with my creative process through like the improvisation and stuff. So when you're creating, for me, when you've created stuff for me for the piece, my question was, has working in an intermediate setting explored your creative potential as a dance artist? Do you feel that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it shows you what you can work with.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a creative outlet and we've been able to create. But then again, it's a little bit restrictive in the same sense as we were talking about before, like when you're thinking about the screen, you can't fully get into it, so it's like kind of thinking about how you can get into that place as soon as the screen changes. But I don't think that restricts you creatively, does it?
Like for me, because I chose to do it because I know I struggle a lot with choreography, and I thought having the video, having the constant stimulus there with me would be easier.
Yeah. That's,
Because
yeah,
I
see
struggle
where
a
you
lot
go in.
with creating choreography, but having this here, like we can improvise together and make something from that.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, can I say something? When we're improvising, we've got to improvise on like what on the screen. We can't improvise like just on our natural selves. Yeah, what you feel. So it's does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So you're always coming back to something. So it's not classed as improvisation, is it?
Well, yeah, it is. It's like a structured
Improvisation, yeah.
improvisation. So you've got like a stimulus, which is good because then it relates back to the theme.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, like, sometimes you're really conscious of what's going on and, like, taking everything in. It's just about going like that with the two things, I think, like, taking everything in and also being able to connect to your kind of, like, yourself and improvise with that. But, yeah, that takes a lot of practice, I think.
Because that was one of my struggles last year, was I had this vision in my head of what the dancers will look like, what movement I wanted. So the tutors made a comment, it's like your identity didn't come through. I think doing it this way, it has more of your identity as well.
I think it's got a lot of your identity in there.
It's got both, yeah. It's probably echoing what you've already said, but how have you found integrating the live and the mediated?
I've really enjoyed it. I've never done really, like
Anything
I've done
like
P&T,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have someone kind of instructing you, isn't it? Yeah, like an outside eye.
And it's nice to go to an actual place to film it.
Yeah.
So it gives you like that more of an experience to dance in other places.
Yeah. And also like that connection to what's on the screen.
Yeah.
Because you could have just put a film there of a beach, like you could have filmed it and then we'd have had to like do it. But the fact that we've been there,
And done it.
yeah, we've been involved like from the word go in the whole process. So
And
that's
the
been
sense
really,
of like the sound and
Yeah.
stuff. So whereas
yeah.
you're saying you want this to be dragon.
And we've like experienced that, so we can
Yeah.
kind of bring it in. But yeah, it's been nice to kind of see it from the start way to the end.
Cool. Right. This is sort of a personal one to me. I feel sometimes I've struggled with like taking control in rehearsals.
That's what we said.
But sometimes, but that's not a bad thing sometimes.
No.
But were you happy with how like our relationship was, or would you want of me to take more of like an authoritative role?
I think that you can sense when you need to be
Yeah.
authoritative. Like, I don't think we've ever been that naughty where it's been like, oh my god, guys, get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you, in future, if you were to work with people, I think you should just say, I don't want you turning on your mobiles, blah, blah, blah,
But
from
I think
the
just 'cause
rehearsal.
we're friends as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think as well, it's like you get that sense, don't you? Like when we're doing the work, we do the work, and then you can kind of sense when someone's starting to take the piss or not. So I think I think that you've done it.
I
You've known when to take control and then when to just kind of like leave us to it.
And when I was sitting there before, I was just like, I wasn't on the iPad, I was just sitting there like that, and you were saying, come on, about 4 times. I was thinking, Sarah, speak a bit louder.
But yeah, I said in my report, like, that's my issue. I think I'm not very
I think
an
that's,
authoritative figure anyway.
but I think that's what a lot of people struggle. I certainly don't feel like I want to like tell you guys like, come on guys, let's do it.
Oh no, I'm more of an authoritative person.
Yeah, you are. But I think that's something a lot of people, because and also working with your mates as well.
It's hard, isn't
You
it?
don't want to be like.
Yeah, but if you want to get that thing done, you need to tell them.
Yeah.
So if you
I
want
know,
to get it
but then there's
dusted
telling
and cleaned.
someone, but then you kind of think, oh well, there's the dancers, they should just
yeah.
know.
Yeah, but if they don't do it, then you've got to set limits.
I know, but then you don't want it to be a bad atmosphere, do you? So it's kind of like everyone should just know their role and everyone should get on with it.
Yeah, but what if they don't get on with it? That's the thing.
I don't know if you pick dancers that you knew would really not get on with it. Like I know, like we don't.
We
really
do get on with the
but
stuff
you get on
and-
with it, like we
and
always
we've
get it done, and when you
done
work,
it.
you work hard.
Yeah,
So I think that's probably not really that much of an issue.
yeah. But what if you did pick someone and it was a bit like, oh, she's not doing this and oh, he's not doing that?
Probably have a word with them,
Yeah, the choreographer probably.
or
Yeah,
just
that's
chuck
it.
them out.
But if I was a choreographer, I'd be like, right, let's get it done.
Mm.
You're doing this, you're doing that.
It's just different in different environments, isn't it? Like when we're working with Angie and stuff, everyone gets down, and it's probably more because it's kind of like Angie's the teacher, we're the students.
Yeah.
Because we're all the students working together,
Yeah.
it's like you don't have that person that you think's.
Authoritative,
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Lovely. Last one. Are you happy with the finished product?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's ace.
Any changes you would have
Well, it's a bit
made?
crappy that we couldn't have the floor
The
down
floor,
earlier.
that's the main. I feel like the floor would have been perfect. Like
I think it would have been perfect in a white studio.
it would have been perfect in like ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd have been great. But you know, like that thing that we talked about, like kind of like the pace of rehearsal and stuff. I think that changing the video like every so often, like that's helped us keep the pace up. And then like the fact that it's so unpredictable, like what might we be doing next rehearsal keeps changing. I think that really keeps like the
Engaged.
yeah, because you have to keep connected. But I think the white floor could have probably
Been done.
picked it up again.
Yeah.
Like if it was maybe like last week, we've got it down. Well, it'll pick it up again on Tuesday. So that's something to
But I
look
think
forward
that's,
to. Maybe
that's
that'll
probably
add
good
something
because then it'll be
just before the show.
be fresh. It'll be just before the show.
Yeah, so it's like a new yeah,
New
yeah, that's
chapter.
yeah, exactly, like another dimension to the piece.
Can't wait till it's done.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's true actually. Maybe you didn't actually need it. Maybe it's nice that it's just
I think it could have gone down just before we came back. Don't know why it's so nice.
Lovely, cool.
great.
Thank you very much.
Great.
No problem.
Thank you. Yeah. So, we'll go down Tuesday.